Hello everyone. So where we are today is in the iconic Times Square. Yes, the famous Times Square. One of the most iconic landmarks. Well, it's more of a district in the world. Some fun facts about Times Square. It used to be called Longacre Square back in the day, until in 1904 when the New York Times moved their headquarters to Times Square. It's one of the most visited sites in the United States. It's very interesting. It's something that you won't see anywhere else in the United States. The only thing that kind of compares to it is Piccadilly Circus in London. Has an amazing energy. It is a really cool place to visit. You know, a lot of New Yorkers will say, oh, you know, I don't go to Times Square, I avoid Times Square, but you know what? I still think it's cool. It's unique, it's different. We're on a Friday night in the summer, so it's gonna be really bumping. You know, taking the sights, you know, there's so much to see. One of these, to get a sign in Times Square, costs about $4 million a year. The site of Times Square is expected to get about 120 million visitors a year. So almost 1 in 3 Americans, if you look at the population of the United States. It's a fantastic place to go. I mean, it's busy. It could be annoying. It could be overwhelming for people who, you know, are not happy with crowds, who don't like too much going on. More interesting fact about it, in the 70s and 80s, Times Square, even the early 90s, Times Square was a kind of a horrible place. It was all porn, it was all smut, prostitution, crime-ridden, peep shows, strip joints. It really got cleaned up in the mid-90s. So now it's a pretty safe place to go. It's so busy. I mean, I wouldn't ever think anything about safety. There's a big police presence too. But yeah, it's a great place to enjoy. So we're gonna start now. Street performers. This is one of the biggest tourist destinations in the United States. So there's gonna be a lot of tourism stuff, a lot of I Love New York stuff, a lot of all that stuff. I would not buy souvenirs in Times Square. It's a ridiculous ripoff. If you wanna buy New York souvenirs, go to Canal Street, Little Italy, Chinatown, that area. Much cheaper, you could haggle, it's just way better. But this is a central place. To get here, almost every train goes here. I'd say 80% of all trains in New York City end in Times Square or near Times Square. So it's pretty easy to get to. I would not drive here. Even taking a cab would be hard. Just take the train, it's the easiest way to go.
two things. Coach, get a body, yeah, I'm really doing so. Everyone makes noise for Lisa. Lisa, beautiful diva, we have a question for you. Are you single, yes or no? No? New diva. We can still use her? Where's your husband? Husband, raise your hand. Oh, the sexy white guy. Sexy white guy, come here. Oh, shucks, this day be good. Wow. Woo! How you doing, buddy? Where you from? Sweden? Is this your beautiful queen? Do you love her? Give her a kiss and show the world how much you love her. Yeah! That's how you kiss, man. Hey! What the hell? You're gonna mess up a happy home. Get out of here, sexy white guy. Get out of here. What the hell? Now, guys, we're flipping over, not under. If you guys want to see us take this jump, everybody say yeah! Very good. Volunteers, we need you guys to squeeze together. Tighten up, tighten up. We call this male bonding. It's New York, no one cares.
So like I said, there's a lot of street performers here. I've seen this gig a bunch of times. They actually jump over the guy, but they wait forever and they ask you for money. It's like the whole thing. But it is cool to see. As you can see, Times Square is fully pedestrianized. This happened about, I'd say 5 to 10 years ago. Less than 10, 5, 7 years ago. And you used to actually be able to drive through it. So if you see those old, those old movies or photos of Times Square in the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, you see cabs and everything driving through it. You can't drive through it anymore, it's closed off. So it's fully pedestrianized, which makes it cool because you could really enjoy it a little bit more. I mean, the cross streets go through, but not the main Broadway street, Broadway and 7th.
What else? What else? Can you do me juju? Cause I'm feeling the juju. I wanna dance. Hey, hey, hey. I love you, I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you.
Now, a couple of years ago, when they pedestrianized the space, they made this really cool seating area. I'm not gonna go on it because it's super crowded right now because it's a Friday night. But if you come here like during the week, you should be able to, or if you come later, kind of prime time right now, it's 9. If you come later, there should be seats on here, and it's just a beautiful view because it's elevated. So for navigation, it basically goes from 42nd Street to 47th Street. So 5 short blocks along 7th Avenue and Broadway. It's actually the confluence of the 2 streets. Broadway, interestingly, is an old yeah, you're on it. Anyways, Broadway is an old Indian route, and basically it goes from the lower Manhattan and the Battery, and it goes in a kind of a diagonal westerly through the whole Manhattan. So it's actually an old route. It's been here forever, and it attracted over time so many different advertisements and so many different businesses, and it really became an iconic piece of America. It's definitely one of the #1 things you should see in New York, because like I said, there isn't anything else really like this in America. You know, you can go to any other city and you're not going to find something this alive. One other thing to note, this is pretty much the theater district. So most of the big Broadway shows, when they say Broadway shows, are around here. So if you go look like down some of these blocks, like they're not really on Times Square, but if you look like down there, that's one of the theaters. And then along all the side blocks in the 40s, east and west of Times Square is where all the theaters are. So if you're seeing The Lion King, Aladdin, you know, those big ones, anything like that, they're gonna be around here. Oh, I have a big tip for you guys. See this right here? That's called the TKTS booth. So what this is basically is, Broadway tickets are ridiculously priced, right? You know, some tickets are $200-300 a pop per seat. So this booth right here, that booth that I just showed you guys, actually sells half-price tickets to all the Broadway shows. The catch is, you gotta come in the morning. You can't get it ahead of time. You gotta come and stand in line, and it's for the day of. So if you want to just go the day of, come here, you get a half price. It's like, it would be like maybe 90 or 100 bucks. I mean, it saves you a lot of money over time. Don't buy it online and do it ahead of time. Just come to the TKTS booth. There's other ones too. This is the main one in Times Square. There's quieter ones in like South Street Seaport in Lower Manhattan. I think there's like 2 more, just look it up online. But yeah, so this concludes the tour. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, I had fun showing it. It's a great place to see in your lifetime for sure. It's definitely not boring. You know, you could hang out here for hours and never be bored. So until next time, guys, peace out.